Apple wants to bring people back in the office 3 days a week. TikTok is doing the same, and Google would like to cut employees' pay for the ones that choose to work remotely up to 25%. Now, granted, this has to do with the rent in San Francisco and cost of living, etc., but it still plays into this general trend. The fact that companies want to bring people back in. There is no question about it. This idea of working purely remotely is finished for the large majority of large corporations. Different reasons we can talk about. The fact that they need to keep up company culture, and several of them believe that that is the way to go, to the fact that several C-level managers are more used to thinking in terms of a model they know, which is being present in the office. And on the other side, you have people who quite understandably resist the idea. Now, this pandemic has been a mess, and we can probably all agree on that. At some point, though, we figured out, on average, that there is a balance. We don't need to, for example, commute half an hour, 1 hour to work one way and back. And if we can do it, we can avoid doing it a couple of days a week while working from home, or have the freedom to go elsewhere and go elsewhere and do it, well, maybe we should do that. And on top of this, there is also one area that I think companies may not be considering, and I want to bring it up to you today. The fact that, plain and simple, we are not that used to working in person anymore. The last year and a half has taught us to avoid groups, avoid crowded spaces, and this has taught us, first of all, to be careful to feel automatically uneasy if you're in a closed space with a bunch of people, maybe even without a mask. And secondly, because all of our interaction has been filtered via a digital device. This is a prime example of that, whether you're listening to this on a podcast or watching me via a video. I'm speaking to you via a digital device and not directly. And I had a workshop the other day, which was the first one in which I have been in person with other people all in the same room. And despite I requested that everyone show a negative test, and we knew that everyone had a negative test, it was still weird. There was something in there that I noticed nobody was used to anymore. So if that is true for me, and it's true for us, and I assume that it's going to be true for a number of people. So at this point, what do we do? What do we need to understand? My take on this is that we're going to be talking a lot about a hybrid work model, about where we want to move with that, how we want to develop that. But before that, there is this human aspect that we need to look at. And it has to do both with this interaction, one-to-one, being able to work in person together again, and we need to look at it from the aspect of who wants what. Companies want people to work all in the office as much as they possibly can force them to, and people want to safeguard their work-life balance and their privacy and the control over their time. I think I'll be speaking quite a bit about these topics because it's something I'm going much more into. And just to give you an advance, I think that one of the key roles in all of this will be played by managers, by middle managers. Why? Because, first of all, they are exactly in the middle between C-levels and bottom line employees. I don't like that term, but it helps. And as such, they are the ones able to speak to both sides and act as ambassadors. So once you make them aware of that role and you give them the skills to do it, then you have someone who can be an agent for this hybrid model to happen. And second reason, well, nobody ever trusted a company. Nobody ever trusted a brand they were working for. Everyone simply trusted the person that represented the company to them, which is their direct manager. So give them the skills to gain ethically their people's trust, and then we have a possibility to make a hybrid model, whatever one it is, work. Otherwise, we are going to be dealing with this for a long, long time. What do you think? What's your take?